welcome to another edition of Sticks-n-Stones. I am your host, Brent Elrod, coming to you from the cozy confines here at the patio of the No Shoes Bar and Grill, deep in the heart of the Republic of Texas. I have a great show lined up for you today. I hope I'm going to be able to make all of this stuff work because I'm trying a new little setup. And I don't know, it seems like I'm having to try and, hold everything together with baling wire. Anyway, I think it's going to be all right. So today, and it's going to be all right because I have two wonderful things that I am pairing today, two wonderful offerings. One of them is my absolute favorite Scotch in the entire world, the Dalmore 12-year-old. And as you can tell, I do like it. It's almost out. I'm going to have to go back to the store. But I do prefer this. I've had the 12, the 15, and the 18. I have never been privy to the Cigar malt. If any of you has a bottle that you'd like to send my way, I am all about gratuities. So, but the Dalmore is an excellent Scotch, and I am pairing it with an equally excellent cigar, the Aging Room Quattro Nicaraguan. I think it's going to be a wonderful episode, so right after this, I am going to pop the cork, cut the stick, and get to toasting. First, love those cork pops. The Dalmore 12-year-old. Now, this is a single malt. Maybe, I think I may have one more glass left after this. May have one more glass left after this. See, this is the whole thing with this setup. The microphone that the live stream is listening to is right here, so you're not having a problem hearing me. But because of the way I've had to set this whole thing up, my directional microphone, my blue, is that connects to my soundboard for the audio for the podcast. I'm a little bit far away from it, and I can hear it in my ears, and I can see down here on the board where the volumes are going. And even though I've got it cranked all the way up, it's not hitting right up at the top like it should. But anyway, that's enough of my problems. This is a single malt from the Highlands. It is a Highland region. For those of you that are not that are new to Scotch or haven't really been around Scotch that much, number one, it is not legal to call Scotch Scotch unless it is distilled and aged in Scotland. So other areas of the world, they get around that by calling it malt whiskey, which is technically true. It's 100% malted barley. That's how they make it. So distillers in other countries will call their Scotch malted whiskey, and that's how they can get around it. You'll get a lot of the same, tastes and that kind of stuff, but to me, it's not Scotch. So there are 5 different Scotch regions. There is the Highlands, the Lowlands, Speyside, Campbelltown, and Islay. I prefer Highlands and Speyside, maybe some Lowlands. I don't know that I've ever had a Campbelltown, so I can't really speak on that. But typically, Islay is too smoky and peaty for me. So you don't get a lot of smoke and peat out of the Highlands and Speysides. And so that's kind of where I tend to gravitate to, though I have paired. There's also like the Isle of Skye. They make whiskey there. I think Talisker is made there. I've paired Talisker a few times. And then I also like Bruichladdich, which is from Islay, but I like their Classic Laddie. Their Classic Laddie is a low smoke, low peat offering. But that's enough Scotch as far as the area. Let's get back down to this Scotch. Now this is renowned for its complexity and its smoothness. It is matured in a combination of American white oak ex-bourbon casks and exclusive sherry casks, or sherry butts, I think may be the official term. Again, 100% malted barley. It's aged a minimum of 12 years. It is 40% alcohol by volume, so 80 proof. So those of you that might be, new to Scotch, it's not It's not like you'll catch some, bourbons that will run up 120 proof. No, this is going to be fairly easygoing, and with the profile it gives, you should be good. So, visually, as those of you on the live stream can see, it is a beautiful, beautiful deep amber kind of bronzy color. It's got some very nice legs. Again, those of you on the live stream can kind of see it in the glass there. On the nose, I'm telling you, just kind of waving the glass here around, you just get that wonderful smell. I'm telling you. I've had the Glenfiddichs and the Glenmorangies and all of those. This is by far, to me, the best Scotch on the market. It just is. It's wonderful. So, you know how this is going to go on the Scotch side of it. But anyway, on the nose, I get cinnamon and caramel, maybe some hints of coffee and like almonds, and then you do pick up a really good dose of wood from the bourbon and the sherry casks. On the palate. Just as smooth as I remember. Oh. Now, on the palate, you get like orange marmalade and maybe even a little bit of triple sec. So there is just a hint of alcohol burn, but not a lot. You also get this wonderful conglomeration of like baking spices, the Christmas spices like cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg, and this wonderful milk chocolatiness. And then there's also some really wonderful notes of like citrus and toffee, and maybe even a little hint of black pepper in there. Some really good stuff. I may end up finishing off that bottle today. Okay, on to the cigar. Now, just take a moment for those of you on the live stream and really just check out the beauty that is this cigar. This is the Aging Room Quattro Nicaraguan Maestro. That's a lot of words. Now, this was Cigar Aficionado. It was their 2019 Cigar of the Year with a rating of 96. This is a Nicaraguan Puro through and through. All Nicaraguan leaves, the filler, the binder, the wrapper, and it is from the mind of Rafael Nodal. He is an expert. These are some wonderful sticks. They also have the Sonata, which is a little bit lighter colored stick, but this one is my favorite. And these are manufactured at the A.J. Fernandez Tabacalares, Nicaragua. Anyway, you get the point. Again, filler, binder, wrapper, all Nicaraguan, and the Maestro is a 6x52 on the ring gauge with the torpedo end on it. Visually, let me go ahead and take the lower band off so I can see really well, even though it's really cloudy here today, so light is kind of an issue. But visually, it is like a beautiful, beautiful chocolate brown, dark chocolate brown. It has very tight and basically invisible seams. There's a hint of veining, but not much. And what is there is not really pronounced. These are almost completely smooth leaves or leaves, whatever. Which the smoother the leaf, the better the quality. So you'll see leaves that have really pronounced veining and things on them, but these are like the primo leaves that they're using for this particular stick. It has a great box press, again showing the folks there on live stream. Really nice tight corners, really good square. There's no rounding to it. It does have maybe a hint of tooth. We'll see as we go along. Now on the nose, I really get like a chocolate forward, and then followed by a kind of a hint of creaminess and malt. There's kind of a barnyard earthiness and some caramel, maybe some nuts and cedar mixed in there. And then also some, I'm picking up some hints of espresso as well. All right, let's give it a cut. Now, for those that are not cigar aficionados or whatever, this torpedo, you're not going to be able to use a punch cut. I'll show that to you on live stream. I have a Cassetti multi-cutter. That's like all the different cutters in one. Punch cuts are great for the rounded heel cigars, but when you're talking about a torpedo, you're not going to be able to punch cut it. So you're either going to have to use a guillotine or a V-cut. My favorite cut is a V-cut, and that's what I'm going to try here today. So I'm having to move stuff around because my setup is all messed up. All right. And that's what the V-cut will look like. That's a pretty good cut, if I do say so myself. I do have a little bit of the cap peeling up just a little bit, but you know. All right, cold draw. And there it came. All right. On the cold draw, I really get kind of a chocolatey covered raisins in the beginning. Some espresso, and again a little bit of like maltiness, maybe a kind of a caramely creaminess, and there is a little bit of nuts in there. All right, let's fire it up. I'm using my Rocky Patel Envoy 5 torch. Good job. I love that Rocky Patel Envoy. They don't make the Envoy anymore. They've replaced it with it's like the Diplomat or something like that. And it is, or at least appears to be, I haven't seen one in person, appears to be a little taller and a lot thinner. But I like this one. It holds a lot of butane, and it is a butane sipper. You can light a bunch of cigars without filling it up. You know, you get some of the smaller, the smaller lighters that you smoke 1 or 2 cigars and it's empty. But this one, it doesn't use a lot and it holds a lot. You know, y'all are kind of getting everything today, you know, all kinds of information. I don't think I lit that on that corner just well enough. I don't want it to pull off and be uneven. All right. It's got a really good smoke production. It's not like a smoke monster or anything like that, but I'm not having to draw really hard to get the smoke through the stick. I get some black pepper, quite a bit of black pepper on the retro inhale. Get some kind of a malty chocolate, you know, chocolate malt kind of thing. You know, I love chocolate shakes, chocolate malts, that kind of stuff. So you get that kind of malty chocolate. There's some sweet cream and a little bit of caramel or caramel or however you say it in there. He really outdid himself on this stick. This is a really good cigar. Let's try them together. the kind of the orange marmalade and those Christmassy spices that blend together with the chocolate and some of the spices and creaminess in the stick really puts you into that Christmas. I need to lean in. That Christmas kind of time period that really takes you there. I think this is a great pairing. I think I did a pretty good job. Of course, I think with these two, you could mismatch them with a whole bunch of different stuff, and they'd be great, because they are. They're wonderful. A little more scotch. And the whole smoke in the glass thing, for those of you on live stream, doesn't mean anything. I just like to do it. So I find it, you will find certain cigars, their smoke will hang in the glass longer than other cigars. Still don't know what that means, but I just think it's kind of cool. So, but there are literally some cigars that will have they'll leave a fog in the glass for several minutes. It'll just hang there. And of course, the Glencairn is shaped. It's shaped to give your olfactory senses the wonderful aromas of the whiskey, so that does kind of help hold the smoke in. So, all right. For those of you on the podcast, I'm going to burn this down to the halfway mark, and then I'll come back and give you an update. For those of you on live stream, you get to stay with me. So, hang on. All right. Now then, now that I can lean back, I just want my, I don't want to have to do too much boosting of the sound when I run this through the sound software before I post it as a podcast on Spotify. This really is, I mean, all kidding aside, I've smoked the aging room, the Nicaraguan, several times since it's been out, and it is a very consistent smoke, and it is one of the highest quality cigars that I've seen around. And I should have said this when the other people were on, so I guess I'll have to repeat it. And it's not like some of the big names that have been in existence for 100, 150 years in the cigar world. You can pick these aging rooms up for about $10 a stick, and depending on where you shop, like online, you can hop on 5-packs that are not that bad at all, and let's try more than one. I see these, I'm at Cigars International or on Thompson Cigars or wherever. You'll have these individual sticks for sale, and I'm like, why would I want to buy an individual stick and then pay the money to have it shipped through the mail by 5-pack? It seems like it's a little more economical. You're even getting finance today. You're getting a little bit of everything. So. And I'm watching a little pro football, but I can't have the sound on or they'll copyright me, which I think is crap. I mean, it's not like a bar where you're going in and buying food and drinks and all this kind of stuff, and they're making money off of you. I just need something to keep my attention while I'm out here. So, it is hard to, these normally last about, 45 minutes or so, and it's kind of hard to find things to talk about for 45 minutes, especially when people can't talk back, because I still have not figured out how to see comments on Restream. I don't know. I have the little comment thing up there, but I don't know, most of y'all are probably watching this on either YouTube or X, and I don't know how that works, and I already have a camera and my iPad with my notes. I can't have anything else out here. There's just too much stuff. So, I mean, it's literally, I'm having to because there's just stuff everywhere. But I am connected with Rafael Nadal on X, and I think also on Threads. I'm trying to stay off of Instagram. Unfortunately, that's where my largest follower base is. So I'm trying to get them all moved over to X, because X is it's just a much friendlier platform. Number one, they don't care if I'm smoking cigars. I could still monetize if I want to, where Instagram will not let me. No, you're smoking. Now, you can just get obliterated drinking whiskey, but don't be smoking. So, and, it is much more open to freedom of speech. So, there is that. But, speaking of, I don't know if any of y'all are interested in the upcoming election on Tuesday, but, yeah, it's, I mean, there's a lot to watch, a lot to keep up with, and you don't really know what to believe. I am a libertarian by party. I have voted for both Democrats and Republicans, and I'm really socially liberal, but I'm very fiscally conservative, and I can find something wrong with both sides. It's just the way it is. Nobody's perfect. Now, go back to what we're here for. That is just some very beautiful, beautiful stacks of nice white ash. It's holding on very well. I am not one of these people that you'll see, they'll hold up a cigar and it'll be burned all the way down almost to the band with the ash still on it. Nope, it will already have fallen in my lap by that point. So I typically go ahead and knock them off when I think it's getting close to being there. So, and if you are watching me on live stream, I see there are a few of you out there. Wherever you're at, I'll be able to see the comments later. Tell me where you at. What do you think about the show? Am I doing all right? This is my 4th season. I think this is about the 9th or 10th episode into my 4th season. I am kind of getting the hang of it. It does take a while to get used to. It's like, like I said a second ago, it's hard to find 45 minutes worth of stuff to talk about while you're smoking a cigar, because that's what you're here for. And unless there's some big, huge changes going on, you really can't just say, "Oh, this is a great cigar. I just love this cigar. Oh, this is the one. Oh, I hate this cigar. This is a terrible cigar." And I am. Oh, man, I think that was a foul right there. He led with his helmet. Yep, right in that dude's face. I hope they threw a flag on that one. Oh, and he's pissed. He's pissed because they called it on him. Dude, when you lead with the crown of your head into a dude's face mask, you're going to get a flag unless the refs are blind. So, speaking of football, here's something else I can talk about. I am here deep in the heart of the Republic of Texas. I am a proud Texas A&M Aggie. Whoop, gig 'em. And they lost yesterday. It was terrible. They were the last undefeated conference undefeated in the SEC, and we were playing South Carolina, who's 4-3, and we were 7-1, and we were 5-0 in the conference, and they didn't just beat us; they just beat the snot out of us. I mean, our guys just didn't look like they didn't even look like they knew what football was. I don't know if they changed teams on the way or what, but yeah, it was bad. So for about a week, we were able to claim the title of the top team in the SEC. So if we'd won last night, we'd have had 75% chance of being in the SEC title game. But after losing last night, we got like a 34% chance. How's that? We went in with a 54% chance. So, and then I think I saw on ESPN, it was even down into the teens. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of this year. I mean, I was ecstatic when they were doing as well as they were doing, but the first-year coach, he's already beat the shit out of last year's coach a whole lot. We were tired of 6 and 5s. Yeah, that's not Aggie football. But we're going to get better. We're at 7 and 2. Got 2 or 3 more games. I see we're off this next week, and then I think we have LSU, Auburn, and Texas. So we got 3 more games. I think we'll win at least 1 or 2 of them, maybe all of them. I mean, there's a chance. I've said this a bunch of times over the last few weeks, especially with the Texas people. It's their first year in the SEC, and they were crowing about how they were just going to mop the floor with the SEC, and then they got beat by Missouri. Any given Saturday, one SEC team can beat another SEC team. That's just the way it is. It doesn't matter how good you are. Anybody could come up and beat you that next Saturday. So don't crow too much. You know, it's not like Alabama. In Alabama with Nick Saban, how many years did they not go to the national championship game? It's easier to come up with that because it's only like 2 or 3. This stick is really, I mean, it's a little uneven, and I'm still thinking that may be my lighting because, you know, I tried to touch it up there at the beginning. So I'm going to touch it again, try and get that same corner evened up, and we'll see how it goes. But it's got a really nice complexity to it, but it's not like overpowering or overwhelming or anything like that. I mean, really, you know, I puffed on it 45 seconds ago or so, and I don't even really taste cigar anymore. It has a really nice kind of black peppery leather finish on it, and the finish is kind of a medium length finish. It's not very long, but boy, when it drops off, it drops off, and you're not left with that in your mouth for like a long period of time. There's some cigars you can, you know, 45 minutes later, you're like, you still taste cigar. You know, maybe you like that, maybe you don't. To me, if it's more like this, that keeps me wanting to come back for another puff, just to enjoy that again, you know. And then when you mix it with the Dalmore 12-year-old, it is like Christmas in your mouth. That's what she said. Still really great smoke production. This is a wonderful cigar from start to finish. Like I said, I've smoked a few of these before. I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, such is live stream. I think one of the way the way I was trying to go with that was the consistency. It really holds consistency throughout the stick, and as we get along here, we'll get into that a little bit more. And it's got a decent burn time. I lit it about 6 or 7 minutes in, and we're right at 30 minutes right now. So like 24 minutes of burning. We're almost halfway there. The way it's looking, it's like a 50-minute or so cigar, and that's really what I like. I mean, this was a 6-inch by 52 on the ring gauge, and I see, you know, like I'm not a Churchill guy. I just don't. I love Winston Churchill, but I've don't even know that I've ever smoked a Churchill cigar. Number one, they're typically a 48 on the ring gauge. They're about like that. But they're 7 inches long. Yeah, and that's too much for me. And that's what she said. There's just a hair of a breeze out here today, or I'd show you my very terrible skills at blowing smoke rings. Yeah. And for those of you that have just joined, this is the Dalmore 12-year-old Scotch. The Dalmore 12 is my absolute favorite Scotch in the whole wide world, as you can tell by how much there is left in this bottle. I've had the 15-year-old, I've had the 18-year-old. They are very good, but to me, the 12-year-old is just a step better. I am looking for somebody that would be willing to send me a bottle of the Dalmore cigar malt. So, because I'd love to try that. The connection I had at the Dalmore, he moved to a different liquor company. So, I can't hit him up anymore. That is still, this is the first time I've ever had one of these burn this kind of inconsistent. I've already touched it up twice, so I can't really fault my lighting with that now. But for some reason, it seems to be that same upper right-hand corner when I put it in my mouth with the front of the band up. And yeah, I get that specific in how I'm putting the cigar in my mouth and all that kind of stuff. I try to give you all the best show I can. So, and you may be watching what's going on in the window. I'm kind of keeping up with the professional football today on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. It's overcast, as you can tell. I'm probably a little darker than normal, and while it's not hot, it is very humid. There's a lot of moisture in the air. Could be affecting the stick, so could be that. I've never really. Maybe I need to do some research into that. I've never really thought. Of course, you have to keep your cigars at the proper humidity while you're storing them. I have a King Chi cigar cabinet. I forgot what the model number is, but it'll hold 650 cigars, and it's got. It looks like a wine fridge, but it's got the cedar trays in it for my cigars to go on, and at the bottom, it's got a cedar tray with a plastic water reservoir in it, and then it's got a motor in it that circulates the air inside it, keep everything consistent, and you should keep your cigars at 68 to 72% humidity and 68 to 72 degrees. But I had not really thought about what if you were in a very humid area. Does that affect the burn of your cigar while you're smoking it? Maybe I need to do a little research on that. See what that's like. I hadn't really thought about it before. Thank you all for mentioning that. I just looked up at that commercial. That was terrible. It's apparently a new show called The Full Monty. And you had these guys on the stage, and they were like me, not like, Chippendale kind of guys, and they ripped their pants off. Yeah, I don't even need to watch that show. So, I mean, hey, if you're into that, that's fine, but yeah, no, not me. Still, that upper right-hand corner. I've talked to Rafi about that. Now, Rafael Nodal, he's the one that came up with this aging room series, the Quattro. You've got the Nicaragua and the Sonata. Sonata's a little bit lighter leaf on the wrapper. That's all. Again, I paired it a few weeks ago. It's a very good cigar. He has an affinity for like classical kind of music. So this is the Maestro, and it is a 6x52 on the ring gauge with a torpedo heel on it. And I used a V-cut to cut it. I don't think the cut would be affecting this way, but it is possible. The V-cut was very centered and was not, it wasn't very ragged or offset or anything like that. So, but it is kind of strange that on this right-hand side, when I'm smoking it with the label up, that I'm just having that kind of consistent, uneven burn. But as far as taste, you can't beat it. I mean, there's just this wonderful kind of chocolatey, little coffee, baking spices that it just creates a absolutely wonderful cigar smoking experience. And I'm definitely going to have to pour a little more Dalmore. I'm going to end up emptying this bottle before the show's over, and it's going to make me very sad because I don't have any spirit buying budget for a couple of more weeks. So, and those of you that are still hanging on from earlier, it's still holding a really nice ash to it. And I even notice now, you might be able to see this in the camera. Up here, you have this wonderful straight striations of ash, and then right here you can see that they're moving at an angle. It's burning kind of angularly. Again, it's something I'm gonna have to check into. I have to reach out to Rafi and see what he says about it. Because again, I love the stick, I do, and this doesn't affect the enjoyment. But when you're doing this and you're looking at all these different things, you want to make sure that you're giving the audience all the information. So, I mean, otherwise, would you just really want to sit and watch me smoke a cigar and just talk about nothing, or do you want to hear about the cigar? Sorry, I'm getting text messages. Fortunately, I'm not having to do this on my phone. I get it on my iPad too. And that's what I tell the Sticks-n-Stonez family, Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez and the junior Sticks-n-Stoners, that don't call me while I'm recording. Send me a text message because I can reply to you on my iPad. And so they do that. I don't know what this other one is though. My youngest daughter. No, my middle daughter. All right. So, such is live stream. I think we're about at the halfway mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring the audio people back in again, and we'll give them an update. See, y'all are getting so much more than just what the audio people get, because they'll be listening to this a week or two from now, and they will not have gotten all of this wonderful information that you've been getting. Hey, Stoners, I am back. We are about the halfway mark, and I have to say, other than a kind of a burn issue, this Aging Room Quattro Nicaraguan Maestro is an excellent smoke, as always. It hasn't really changed much. It has been very consistent. I think there could be a little bit of uptick in the pepper and maybe the nuttiness, where the kind of the chocolate and the baking spices may have kind of mellowed out just a little bit, but it is still a wonderful smoke. It's got a medium finish to it that's got quite a bit of pepper on it, maybe some leather in there on the retro inhale. But on your palate, within 45 seconds or so after you take a draw and release the smoke, your mouth is ready for another one. That's what she said, because it just kind of fades away. And what I was telling the live streamers was, I like that. That's personally, I prefer that, because that makes me want to take another puff. Whereas if you're still tasting it a minute or minute and a half later, not really ready for you still have that. You're still, trying to process all of those savory flavors. But it is mixing excellently with the Dalmore 12-year-old. I keep saying this over and over again. It is my favorite Scotch. But the chocolate and the kind of the orange marmalade and the sweetness, and it's got some coffee and espresso things going on its own. They really do blend together, and it does really put you in mind of Christmas. With all the baking spices, you kind of get the cinnamon and the clove and the nutmeg all kind of conglomerated together. And it is a really, really enjoyable experience. If you've never tried either the Aging Room Quattro Nicaraguan or the Dalmore 12-year-old, you definitely need to try them. They are excellent. And I keep waving this around. I know I'm going to drop this ash in my lap, so I'm going to go ahead and tap it off, even though you really shouldn't do that. It helps keep the cigar going better. Helps keep those insides warm, kind of like a blanket. But I have done this too long and had too many ashes drop in my lap that now I just go ahead and, if I can get it down to the halfway mark before I tap it, that's a good thing. I think last weekend when I recorded, I dropped ash. No, it wasn't recording. I sat out here yesterday and smoked a cigar, and the ash dropped in my lap, and I wasn't even doing this, So, but if you're joining in late, the Dalmore is it's a Highlands. Highlands and Speyside Scotches are my two favorite. They typically are either no or low smoke and peat, and I'm just not a really big smoke and peat kind of guy. The way they make Scotch, they have malted barley, and they put it in these huge smoking rooms, and they go out into the Scottish bogs, and they dig up peat out of the bogs, and they go in underneath the floor of the smoking room, and they burn this peat. So the peat has that earthy kind of aroma to it, or aroma and flavor. And so as they burn it and that smoke comes in, you get a very smoky, earthy kind of flavors and aromas. And typically the Islay Scotches are the ones that are the smokiest and peatiest. I don't do a lot of Isleys just because I don't like that, but I have done them because I know people want to, they want to hear about that too. And so I do my best to give an unbiased opinion, even though I'm not a big smoke and peat kind of guy. So there's one of the big names out there from Islay that I tried it. I've never reviewed it. I tried it one time, and it literally felt like, or tasted like, I had taken some ash from a fireplace and stirred it up in some like some Everclear and drank it. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't. There's nothing I can do with that. There's nothing I can do with that. So those of you on the podcast side, I'm going to go ahead and burn this down to the band, and I will come back and give you my final thoughts. All right, it's just us again, and it's getting dark. I'd have to get up, but I could turn some lights on, but I really think you can kind of see me. So, I can see myself. Back to the presidential election from earlier. I think I tapped too much off. It's struggling in the humidity to stay nice and lit. But I will say that the right-hand side unevenness is straightened on up. So it may have just been something in the roll at that particular part of the cigar. There's some cigars you'll find that they'll have like a stem in the middle of them, and it'll burn funky, or it'll canoe where it burns in, but the outsides don't burn away as fast, so it's got like a hole in the end of it. So many different things about cigar smoking that You know, it's not like, I always tell people, it's not like cigarette smoking. People smoke cigarettes because they want nicotine, but cigar smokers, it's an experience. It's not really about the nicotine. Since you are not inhaling, it's definitely not about the nicotine. So don't ever inhale a cigar. That's bad juju right there. You will have a bad day. Now that we're starting to get into the last half, I'm picking up a little more longer finish on my tongue. And I think maybe there's been a little introduction of, to me, maybe some kind of hay in there, something like that. So live Veterans Day pregame special. Okay. Well, I'm a veteran. I did 21 years active in reserve. I was in every branch except the Marines, and I wasn't going to do the Marines because I had to go back to boot camp. Once was enough. I was active Navy, 6 years in the Army, and did 13 years in the Army National Guard. Retired 21 years, 2 combat deployments. That was enough. I probably could have done more, but that was a few years ago. All right, my glass is getting a little empty. I'm gonna not hold me to this now. Y'all make me be strong. I'm not gonna empty this bottle up. Help me be strong. Come on, help me be strong. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Mrs. Sticks-n-Stonez, if you're watching this, Christmas is coming up. So I generally get 1 or 2 gift cards from Total Wine for Christmas. There'll be a couple of people that they'll buy me a Total Wine gift card, because you go in and look at my whiskey shelf. I need to go in and just do like a little reel on my whiskey shelf. It's not as impressive as some, but it's pretty impressive. I see some of these guys on social media that they've got like bookcases, you know, like 6 feet high, 4 or 5 shelves, like 4 or 5 of them loaded with bottles. Yeah, I'm not like that, but I've hit pretty much everything. I've got Scotch, I've got Irish, I've got Bourbon, the other American whiskeys like Texas. Texas does actually make some really good whiskey. It makes some really good bourbon. Garrison Brothers does a really good job. They've got some really great stuff out there. Treaty Oak is another one. There's one. It may be hard to find, but it is a small Texas distillery here, Bonbrooker, and they make a whiskey that, to me, really tastes like it's got a really great banana note in the profile, in the palate. Oh, really good stuff. I may end up having to walk away and turn a light on. I'm thinking so. But like I said a few minutes ago, there's been a little bit of maybe a little bit of kind of hay introduced in this second half, but that's really, other than like the chocolatey and the sweetness, that kind of stuff pulling back, and the black pepper coming forward a little more. It really has not changed much at all throughout this stick. It's very consistent, and it is a complex profile. There's some cigars, there's not a lot of complexity to it, but it's very consistent all the way through. But this one, there's a lot of things going on in it, and so it's great that it doesn't change a lot, because it's a lot to try and keep up with. if you're, you know, really trying to keep up with it. And I'm telling you, I would challenge you to find another Scotch that's any better than the Dalmore 12-year-old. Tell you what, if y'all will hang on just a minute, I am gonna step behind the camera here and turn some lights on. You can still hear me though. There we go. See if y'all can see my beautiful face a little better. Don't I just look all professional with my, whatever these things are called, goes in my ears. Yeah, there's a lot to this. It's not just a, that is, you know, it's straightened up for a while, but now it's come back. This was a new 5-pack that I'd opened, so I'll smoke another one, not tonight, and see how it does. Could just be this stick, or it could be something in that production line. Yeah, it does a pretty good job of lighting it back up again, huh? Doesn't it? This is making for a wonderful afternoon. I was a little late getting started here because I have twin nieces. My sister-in-law passed away several years ago, and they're 25, 26 now, but they were like 18 at the time, and they were lost without her. And it's my wife's sister, and I mean, really the whole family kind of was. She's a wonderful lady. So we've kind of been surrogate parents for them, love them to death. Today was their birthday, so they came over and we had some cake and ice cream, and you know, so I was a little late getting started. It was closer to 4 o'clock where I normally do this around 2 or 3 Central Time. So. And I haven't really like rushed through the cigar. It's been burning for about 47 minutes, and I said it'd be about a 50 or so minute cigar, and that's about what it's going to be. Which, you know, it's unless you are like at a cigar lounge with a friend and you're just sitting there, you know, BSing back and forth, it's hard to put in like an hour and 15 minutes. It just kind of is. And that's kind of why I don't like the longer. 6-inch is about as long as I'll go. Some of them, they'll say they're like 6 1/5 or something like that. I mean, that's okay, or 6.2, but you don't see me smoking like 7-inch cigars. If I do a Gordo, which is a 6x60, that's probably about as big as I go. And that's what she said. But I'm telling you, that Dalmore, I could drink it all day. Not that I would, you know, want to. I'm not. I typically do not drink much during the week, if at all. I got too many other things going on. Work, kids, you know, everything y'all got. But you know, on the weekends, I'll have a few drinks. And then, of course, I do this usually on Sunday afternoon. Sometimes I'll do it on Saturday. It depends on what's going on. Still a great amount of smoke coming off of this stick. I mean, it is, other than the kind of uneven burn, it has been a model of consistency all the way through. It is, it's a wonderful stick, and I can see why Cigar Aficionado made it their cigar of the year in 2019. Now, there's and I didn't tell the whole story this time on the Dalmore. You got the Silver Stag here. The Dalmore, whatever you want to call it, the area, there's a stream there, and that's where they get their water from to make this. And back in the like 1600s, there was a monastery or something there nearabouts at this location, and they made beer. And the new king, I think it was one of the King Jameses, I think, he was coming through the area on his way to go to his coronation. He wasn't king yet, and he stopped and got some of their beer. And you know, I mean, you're on your way to London, you need a roadie, and he was so taken with how good the beer was, he gave them a charter and allowed them to use his official crest of the stag, and that is what adorns all of the Dalmore bottles today. See, even though I didn't remember like all the specifics, I remembered enough that you're like, oh wow, see, this is an educational program. Well, we are almost at the band, and I am pushing 60 minutes. So I want to keep this, you know, I know y'all have time, other things you want to do too, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up here real quick. Hey, Stoners, I am back, and the last half of this cigar was excellent. As I kind of said, at the halfway mark, the pepper had kind of ramped up, and the chocolate and the kind of the sweetness and spices kind of pulled back. Not a lot, but a little bit. They just kind of changed places. Excuse me for that. In the last half, the only really change was that there was maybe a little bit of hay that got introduced in the last half. But other than that, this stick was an absolute model of consistency all the way through. The only issue I had with it was the kind of uneven burn that I had on the right-hand side of the cigar. If you were smoking it band up, the band face up. But, you know, could just be this cigar. I'll smoke another one out of this 5-pack, not right now, and just kind of see what happens there to see if, you know, it was a one-off or whatever. Or it could be, the other thing is, it could be the weather. It's very humid today. Even though it's not hot, it's humid. So the Dalmore is still my favorite Scotch. These went wonderfully together. It was a perfect combination for a wonderful afternoon. I would give the cigar like a 90 matchsticks out of 100. I would give the Dalmore, I'd give that a 96 Whiskey Stones. It is a wonderful Scotch. You need to try it if you haven't. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have enjoyed bringing it to you. Please hit like, subscribe, share, notify, tell all your friends about this crazy guy in a cowboy hat smoking cigars and drinking whiskey. And I also do rum and tequila and port, wine, and even done some mixing some tequilas with cigars. I probably need to do that again here pretty soon. But tell all your friends. That's how I grow. I am loving doing this. Until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold, and have a great day. All right. You know, I have to do things different on there than I have to do here. I hope you all have a very enjoyable weekend. I am cautiously optimistic about Tuesday, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about when we get together again.